What's up? What's up? What's up, true art believers? This is Pierson here, and you are watching another day in paradise, another live art stream. I am the #1 live art streamer in the world, and you're watching 500 Days of Drawing, and we're doing day 465. Oh my gosh, 465 days. Let's get started, shall we? All right, so today we're going to be doing another head portrait or portrait, and I'm going to be talking about my process as I do it, and probably talk about like I don't know. I'll just talk about stuff and things. This chair closer, and let's get everything in order so that I'm in a good position to render. And I'm going to be doing a 30-minute head portrait or portrait today. So that's what I'm going to be focusing on today, is that. Using what brush? Not that brush. Using that. And now, like that. Let's make sure. And I want to use blue for it. All right, before I begin, I want to do a few circles. Just do a few circles here, kind of just kind of get warmed up here. I'm trying to draw the circle very lightly. And yeah, as you can see, I'm just trying to practice, get a few of these circles kind of in place. And it's all about repetition, you know. I know I've done a lot of circles in my lifetime, but I'm still like pretty bad with it. Okay, just want to kind of draw a few lines here. Okay. Let's delete that layer. Now let's go ahead and start. I want to find a head that I want to work with. I think I'll go with this one. Okay. So let's start up by drawing another circle to represent the cranium, the skull area. I'm going to draw a line to represent the side, or the center of the face. And I'm going to draw an ellipse-like shape to kind of, it's going to represent the side face of the skull. Okay? So that's what I'm doing here. And I am going to, let's see here. We got to make sure that the lines, this figure is looking down. So what I'm not really doing well with these Riley head Loomis heads is I'm not treating this side face as if it's an ellipse. And I need to really be mindful of that. With regards to this, to the human face. All right. So now I am going to, we're going to draw, he's looking down. I'm going to make a kind of a shape to kind of signify the front of that face. So the character is kind of looking downwards. So you're looking, it's tilted downwards. And when you are doing that, well, I don't know, it's kind of looking down. I don't know. He's got like a high forehead. Now, his chin. His chin is, he's got kind of like a pretty big chin. All right, let's go ahead and so what I'm going to struggle with this one because I can't see. I wonder if there's a way to edit the brightness of my screen. There's got to be a way to kind of edit the brightness of my screen here. Anyways, I need to edit the brightness of my screen, but I won't get to do it this time because I have all these things open. But like, I can't, whenever there's dark shadows occurring, it becomes very difficult to see what's happening. So like, I can't really. My computer screen's a little dusty, and I can't really tell what is happening on this area of his chin. I can kind of tell, but it's really hard to see. So I know that he has kind of like a wider chin. And we'll just leave it like this for now. And now let's go ahead and we're going to start structuring things a little bit, or at least try to. Let's see here. Let's see what I want to do. The thing about doing these portraits, what I've noticed is I've become incredibly like fearful of drawing them. Like I've gotten to the point where I'm just scared to draw them now. I'm afraid I'm going to mess up, and it's becoming a nuisance actually. So he's got a defined, from this angle, he's got a pretty strong brow ridge, and he's got a pretty strong like mouth. Not a strong mouth, but like his mouth is projecting forward more in this from this particular angle, because he's got like a thinner, he's got like a lot, he doesn't have a lot of body fat on his face, so he's got like these very pronounced forms on his mouth, on his jawline and everything. So I'm gonna try to articulate that. So we're gonna draw like that. I can already tell you that I'm going to struggle. I'm going to have a struggle on his eye here. I'm going to struggle on his eye. I'm going to struggle so much getting that eye in there. I struggle in 3/4 views. I just do. So I'm going to draw a kind of like a be formed to kind of express that eye socket. Maybe bring this out a little bit. And then his nose, he's looking down. I can't see the bottom of his nose too well because the contrast here, and I'm not able to zoom in. Okay. Let's go ahead and draw a little socket or a little area to kind of put his eye in a little bit. And then all of this is in like shadow, just for a reference point, as a reference. And his ear goes upwards right around here. And then his hair overlaps the majority of his ear, something like that. And then his neck kind of comes out right here. And his neck starts pivoting right around where his mouth starts to begin, like the form. So it kind of comes out like right here. And then his other shoulder kind of starts right here. This is all kind of like, it's all guesswork at the moment. But so now we gotta draw the lips. Now the lips are tilted downwards, but they're also wrapping around, and they're at a 3/4 view as well. So we got to take that in consideration. So whenever you draw the lips, you know how you draw the lips, they're like this when they're face forward, but this is 3/4 view. So these lips have got to be kind of like, you know, moved in 3/4. That's a very bad example, but you'll get the idea when I start drawing. Let's go ahead and it's tilted down like this. His lips like this. That seems about right. All right. The angle of his lips kind of tilt down this way because it's wrapping around, and then it kind of wraps around a little bit right here. And then it's hard to tell what's happening here because there's like shadow, but it feels like it's kind of wrapping around like that a little bit. Let's see. And then he's got this other lip. The bottom lip is not in shadow. It's got a nice pair of lips. Although I think I'm messing it up quite a bit, actually. But that can always be corrected a little bit later on. Now, the trouble I have here is I can't tell. I think his chin kind of recedes a little bit just because he's tucking it in a little bit visually, and it's very hard to tell. So I'm just going to kind of do something like that. And he's not smiling, so that's one thing I'm noticing, that his lips curve around, but they kind of stay like this, so they kind of point down a little bit. Oh gosh, it's really hard to see his chin. I can't tell what's happening here with his chin, and that's one of the problems with drawing from photos. Like, you don't, like, if there's things in shadows like this, it's hard to discern where edges begin and end. So like, that's one of the problems with like this is not a bad photo. Like, this would be a good photo if I was able to zoom in on it. And but the website that I'm using it's using it has timed images, and perhaps I should start selecting like photos to work from. I might do that, but this is like just a kind of like an easy way to find decent images to work from without having to kind of cruise around Photoshop, the internet, you know? Maybe it's a little lazy. I don't know. Some people might think it is. But you can't like argue with me and say that I'm lazy in a sense, because like I've done almost 500 videos. I'm about 25 short, so I can't. The argument of like, oh, you're just being lazy, like, yeah, I guess I am a little bit, but like it takes a lot of effort just to do a generic video like this. You know, it takes a lot to do. It's not like you can't just happen to do it. You just have to do it. Yeah, the lips are sticking point for me. This neck kind of goes a little lower than that, but that doesn't matter. He's got his clavicles here. Okay, now let's give his hair. He's got pretty sweet head of hair. It's almost like he's got a pretty sweet like setup. Although I think I may have been, there we go, something like that. Yeah, I think that's good. Let's see. Let's go ahead and make it a little bit larger. You know, scale it up a bit. All right, scale it up a bit. So now what I gotta fiddle around with is I'm gonna kind of find placement of the eyes. It's gonna be tough to kind of get this nose in here. I struggle with all this stuff. This is all a struggle for me. I don't think none of this ever comes natural to me. It's all a giant struggle. Okay, so now let's remember that the eyes are kind of wrapping around, you know? So they're wrapping around. Well, not like that, but they're wrapping around, which means you're not going to get that standard eye shape that you see everywhere. It's the eye is wrapping around the face. Well, this is a bad example, but it's wrapping around, so you got to account for that when you're drawing this. And I'm going to struggle with this one because I just can't seem to see the what is it? What can I not see? This eye here is kind of difficult to see. So I wish I could zoom in on the face. So I'm going to zoom in on this face, but I can't zoom in on the source material because it's a timed website. So I just got to have the thing about doing these images, it's kind of hard to kind of mess around with. Let's see. So the head, let's try and draw a little eye, what the eye kind of looks like for me from where I'm at. It kind of tilts down like this, and it makes this kind of shape, you know, because you're looking down, and then maybe there's this shape here, and then there's the eye, like the eyelid or part of it, and there's the top of the eyelid. But all this is, the majority of all this stuff here is in shadow. All I really can see is like the whites of the eyes and basically some highlights on the eyelid. So like I'm just kind of guessing at this point when I'm drawing his face or his eyes. So I'm gonna guess the placement a little bit of where these forms are at. And we're gonna draw a line here because he's kind of looking down, and then like that. That's close enough, I think. And then there's that angle here. I think the eyebrows could be eyebrows could be a little higher, or where I put the brow a little higher, like that. And maybe even make this a little sharper, you know. And as I said, I can't see half this stuff. So soften this all up. So notice like I did all these lines are just so everywhere. All right. So now what I want to do is I'm going to draw a shape here for that. And I think the angle right here. And then right here is his other eye. It's probably even like more. Something like that. And again, all this information I really can't see. So I'm kind of making up everything at the moment. All right. So now I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to, instead of correcting everything, I'm going to start out by doing another line drawing, but only in black. So we're going to go ahead and draw it in black. And then we're going to go play around with value after that. So I'm going to go slow. I'm going to start with the nose because it's like a prominent feature. And then I'm probably going to move down the lips and kind of correct the stuff that's wrong with it. But I think the nose is pretty good. I think I got that nose pretty well. So this is what I have a pretty good with like faces that have like just really clear landmarks. I do pretty well on, so like this person has like strong features. He's got strong like angles on where his jaws, like his underneath his eye. I don't know if that's called like the zygomatic bone. I don't remember, but that's a very prominent projection of his face. So it helps to have like really like when I have a face that has like really angular forms, I tend to do a lot better than softer forms, because with softer structures like female faces, I tend to I don't have a lot of like visual landmarks to go from, and that's what I tend to struggle with, that when there's not a lot of visual information. Like there's a lot of visual information, but it's not a lot, if that makes any sense. There's not a lot of like definition. I can't see the structures. So what I think is wrong with this is I think I need to, right here, I need to make that his face narrower, or his lips narrower right here. And something like that, I think. And then his lips kind of go they kind of go down a little bit. I feel like they go down a little bit, like they go down right around here. And then again, I can't tell where the top of his lip is at, or I can kind of tell. All right. So one thing I'm doing wrong, I think his bottom lip needs to be larger, or because his top lip and bottom lips are relatively the same size, especially this part right here, this height here. So I got to account for that. So I'm going to put that there. I'm just going to kind of add a little bit more mass to the bottom lip. Yeah, a little bit more mass there. And I probably need to bring this chin out a little bit. It kind of curves. It's hard to tell because there's so much shadow here. And I'm kind of just guessing. I'm kind of guessing a little bit to some degree. And let's go ahead and let's kind of like draw a few lines here. Just a few lines. I don't need. I think I'm going to define some of these forms with value as opposed to drawing it with line. That's what I've been trying to do. That's my end goal with these live streams or these portrait studies. Is I want to get to the point where I'm doing decent, like I'm able to get some of the line or some of the value established in the drawing itself. So as I said, he's looking. He's got eyelashes here. He's looking away, and then there's something like this, and I know that his cheek kind of intercepts here, and then maybe I can even make this a little bit wider. So something like this. Yeah, we'll do something like that. I want to expand that a little bit. Yeah, and then now I'm not even going to put the irises in there. I want to put the irises in with value and see how that goes. I'll see how I like that. So I'm trying to do things a little bit different each time. As you can see, I'm trying to be, just trying things a little bit different each time. I didn't want to, I don't know. I didn't want to do this live stream so late. I got a bunch of things I got to do today, or after my live stream is over. Just one of those things. Okay, let's kind of tilt tilt his eyebrow like that. Not bad. So let's go ahead and draw a line there. And draw a line. Another line. Draw some lines here. No. I think that's a good enough line right there. And then some lines here, and then he's got that line. Oh! All right. Looking good. So I think I do a lot better with people that have very distinct facial features, very distinct landmarks that I can work from, and just what I think. I think I really do. I am much better at doing that than with like softer features. So like women. Female features are very hard for me. I struggle with them a lot. It's just because like the angles, the landmarks, there's less of them, and in a lot of female portraits, you know. And it's not for lack of trying. It's just I just can't seem to. I can't draw what I don't see. Or I don't see relationships to. So if I don't see like a structure in the figure, it becomes very difficult for me to draw. No, come on, brush. I'm trying to get this I think that's pretty good. All right. Oh man, my hands are sweaty. You ever get that? Sweaty hands from drawing so much? I'm nervous. All right, so this turned out pretty good. Let's go ahead and let's just give him a generic ear. The ear is like a moot point for me. I'm not going to get to it. I'm not going to get to his ear in this drawing. Like I'll get to like do maybe a little bit of it, but I'm not going to really get to anything remotely close to a lot of his ear done. Yeah, his brow kind of tilts up like that. There we go. It's got that strong curve there. Looking pretty good, actually. I'm quite impressed with this. How fast I've gone. Actually about 25. I'm doing pretty good. Like yesterday, I struggled, man. I really did struggle. We're just gonna kind of I'm just gonna kind of add a few lines here because I'm gonna be doing a lot of this with value, and I really don't want to have to establish the definite line of his head here at this point. Same goes here. I will leave it like that, and we're just going to kind of let's go ahead and draw a shape here for his head. Got a pretty sweet head of hair, dude. No joke. I know because I don't have any hair, and so like when I see a sweet head of hair, nice. All right, man. So there we go. That's the line drawing. So now what we're gonna do is we're going to do a press G. And we're going to go ahead and do a brightness cube. And we're going to go ahead and do like a light gray here. And then for right now, I'm going to leave the blue, but eventually I'm going to put it underneath like that. But I'm going to leave the blue at this moment so I can see the landmarks that I kind of put here. And then we're just going to do like one dark tone using an opaque brush. And we're going to do a bunch of blending. So this is something I learned through the website Paintable and also through some of their challenges. They had like a 1 week portrait challenge. Let's see here. Maybe you can go darker than that. That might be too dark, but yeah, we'll do this. We'll just do this to begin with. And stop session. Now I can look at it. Oh, there we go. Okay, I can zoom in a little bit. So it's been 35 minutes or 30 minutes on this drawing. And now, so that's pretty good. It used to be, yeah, that's pretty good. If I can spend 30 minutes just kind of playing around with value, I think I'll call it a day or a success for me. Like, I think this would be a success for this drawing. So I'm just going to outline everything one tone. And then I'm going to add a dark tone, excluding the hair. The hair I'm just going to probably do separately. And then I'm going to add a dark tone. And then I'm going to add some highlights. And then I'm going to use the airbrush. I'm going to use the airbrush to kind of blend everything. I know that there's like some like tools you can use. There's like a special blending brush you can use, but I'm just not familiar with them, and I think I want to I think I want to learn how to do this manually before I jump into using some of those other tools, right? Okay, so now I'm going to add another, and we're going to add a dark tone, which is basically going to be, let's see, the dark tone will be, let's just simplify it. Yeah, let's just simplify it. The dark tone is going to be everything like his eye right here, like this. Then maybe even do his like bridge of his nose. Not like that though. So it's going to be the eyes, and then this whole area here and downward, pretty much. And then probably the bottom of his nose. Okay, and then all this stuff. All this stuff downwards is going to be black, and then, like, not black, but like a dark tone, and then right here, it's be a dark tone right here, and then right here, we're going to make this all one dark tone, all the way down, and then the hair is going to be a dark tone. And then let's do the nose. I know that this is not, like, it's not all going to be dark. There's going to be some highlights here. As a matter of fact, what I will do is I'll probably, right here is an area that I think will keep bright, or keep this tone. And then the rest is going to be a dark tone. Maybe even do something like this. Yeah, I think that'll be good. Okay, and maybe even like alrighty, just kind of get that in there. And then another layer, and this layer we're going to add some highlights. Probably even what I can do here is there you go. And what we're going to add is the highlights. So I think this may be a little bright, but I'm just going to over amplify it. Over amplify it. Because he really has, it's brighter on his nose. So right here, and then on his right here, and then we maybe make the argument that it's a little highlighter right here, and then highlighted right here a little bit, something like that. All this is going to be softened up Now let's go ahead and add one more layer, and we're going to basically just do like a really, really dark for his hair. And then we can just kind of we can just kind of do some touches on like some, we can play around with that a little bit later, but yeah, because I can't really get a lot of the detail inside his hair because it's all dark, but like there's some things, some light happening that are on the outside edges that I can kind of fiddle around with, that I might be able to kind of create some unique patterns or texture with. Something like that. There you go. So as I said, I really do a lot better when I'm able to just kind of structure everything, or when I'm able to see more of the structure. And so guys typically have more like angular features, and with angular features I typically do a little bit better in drawing. That's just kind of like how I kind of gravitate, where I gravitate towards. And let's do the same to his eyebrows. Let's kind of add his eyebrows in here. Why not? I don't know if I should be doing this, but perhaps this is not the best way to go about it. I don't know yet. I just figured since I'm drawing, I'm adding the dark hair area, like the hair color. Might as well add the other areas of facial, like the other areas of hair follicles in there. So I might as well add like the eyebrows or and so forth. Okay. So there we go. That is the flat tones. Now what I'm going to do is, all right. I'm going to add another layer. I'm going to take out the blue, which I did just now. And now I'm going to go ahead and we're going to be blending everything together the best that I can do. And we're just going to airbrush these areas so that they feel a little bit more just better. That's what I'm doing, is kind of blending these areas. It's a very slow process. It's 100 times faster than traditional drawing, though. So there's that. You know, if you think this is slow, just imagine having to do this manually. Oh my gosh, blending like this takes forever with pencil. Especially if you're doing direct blending. If you're blending it directly, like you're really trying to have a say with the tones, because you can kind of farce it, you can kind of fib it by adding using a blending stump that kind of does the same thing. You know? So we're going to blend everything, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to start adding a few more details for roughly 15 to 30 more minutes. I don't know. It all depends on how I feel. It's not late, but I do have a few things I got to do before I go to bed, and I don't know if I want to how late I want to play around with this drawing. It all depends on how I feel. But yeah, here we go. Just kind of just playing around here, having fun, just kind of blending it in, blending, constantly using the eyedrop tool to test the surrounding areas. And I'm looking back and forth at my portrait here. So I'm looking back and forth at the portrait and making sure that I'm kind of adhering to the face a little bit. Make sure that I'm getting some nice transitional tone. I'm sure there's a better way to do this, but this is the only way that this is like the simplest way that I kind of learned online, and it's a slow way, but it's a very reproducible. Like it produces the same results. It produces results, and that's what you want. You want to kind of be able to recreate the same type of effect over and over again, and that's what you kind of want. You want just easily reproducible results, and that's what I'm trying to do. Is I'm trying to make sure that I'm producing the same outcome or a similar outcome from the previous drawing. That's what you see with those people on Instagram and TikTok, and their drawings. They've got like a specific style, or not a style, but like a set of rules and a set of like a specific drawing system that works for them, and that's how they're able to produce the same, like a drawing that's similar from the past one, And I don't really have like that. I don't really have a system like that. The only system I have that's close to that, like drawing system, I would say, is like when I draw in charcoal. So when I draw in charcoal, the way that I execute a charcoal drawing is typically the same each time. I either will set up a grid-like structure, or draw upside down. It depends, but I will draw upside down in charcoal for an extended period of time. So like I do have like some sort of set system related to drawing in charcoal. Yeah. And so this is just a process that I learned that is just a very clear process that I feel that is just recreatable, So I'm just going to blend this stuff in first, and then after that, I am going to start by adding more nuanced tones. Like obviously, this area is darker. There's some areas that are much darker that I'm not really accounting for because I only have 3 tones to work from. So I'm trying to use those 3 tones and create a transitional enough transition between each one that it works. And to some degree it is. To some degree I'm pretty successful in that. Just blending it in softly, slowly. It's just you're like feathering it almost. So I kept the eyebrows and the hair on a separate layer. I think this is something I'm trying to learn as I go, but I'm trying to figure out where I need to implement my layers and what works with regards to like how do I organize my layers. And I've gotten better at it, but sometimes I tend to go a little bit overboard. But I think there's some people like I think there's no like overboard on it. I don't know, maybe you can go a little bit overboard on it. I know my computer can't handle like too many layers. Yeah, I don't know. This is taking much longer than I expected, so I don't know if I want to keep working on this. I do, because it's turning out nice, but I really do got a lot to do. I got some things I need to do before the day is done. All right, gotta do something like this. Yeah, just kind of playing around here. All right, so I think that's looking pretty good. You know, looking good. No complaints with the blending at the moment. None at all. None at all. Let's see here. I don't know if I like that though. So this area is kind of like confusing to me at the moment. I don't think it needs to be that bright. I think it needs to be grayer. There's some areas that are darker, lighter, like lighter here, but not that much lighter. Not a lot lighter, you know. It's really dark under here, so I'm gonna have to start by adding really like a intense contrast. So it's gonna have to be darker than it is now. Maybe close to the darkness, the dark value of the hair itself. To be quite frank with you, there's areas in his face that are below here that are really quite dark. All right, here, just kind of blending all this stuff together here. Probably could do a better job. I tend to get a little lazy when I get away from the neck, mainly because I don't know if I want to invest a lot of time down, like lower, the lower I go, because my focus is to kind of just practice the face. And yes, the neck is part of the face. I get it, but as far as time is concerned, I'm running like usually around when I get to this point, it gets kind of hard to do all this and focus on the neck and focus on the face and all these features here. So I don't really mind if it is less complete below down here, because just time is of the essence for me. Or at least that's what I feel like. That's how I feel. And so if it doesn't pan out, typically I'm not too upset if I don't reach the visual conclusion I am looking for regarding the face. And I'm doing value because I need to practice value. And once I'm able to fully understand value, and I'm pretty weak at it. I'm decent at it, but I'm not great. And so that's one of the reasons why I'm really focusing on gray tones and dark and a grayscale for these portraits. That, and also adding color is a whole new level of like intricacy or time, or whole new like focus that I'm not ready to kind of like contribute my time towards at the moment. Like, I don't think I'm ready to kind of invest my time on adding color on these drawings yet. Not for a long while, at least. Okay. All right, so let's go to the ear as well. Let's kind of get this ear in here, soften it up. As I said, I'm not going to really do much to the ear. Maybe add a little bit of highlights here, a little bit of a highlight here. But I really don't want to get too fancy with the ear because I'm not going to get to the point where I actually define that form too well. So we're just going to kind of leave it like that for this study. Now, what I want to do is I want to kind of work on this area and then maybe leave. I just want to kind of work on this area. And so that's what I'm going to do is we're going to start by adding dark tones in areas that I feel like need to be a little bit darker. And just kind of feather it in there. Like that. You know? And do the same. Get out of there. To this back area. And then let's go ahead and add some highlights here. A lighter tone, maybe. Maybe blend that in a little bit. Soften it up some more. There we go. And then let's go ahead and darken this up some more. Just kind of play around here. And yeah, let's go ahead and we're going to darken this area. It gets really dark here. And underneath his eye. Yeah, so I'm just going to fiddle around with this. The problem with doing these studies is I get really excited. You know, I get really excited and I want to work on them more and more. But like, I just don't have, like, there's a certain level of time involvement that I can't give to these. I've been making these live streams bordering on an hour or two, and it's not feasible. It really isn't. It really isn't. It's oops, come on. Something like that. I don't know if that's good. Maybe not. I think I made that line a little bit too big. And now let's go ahead and just kind of add this here. Now, typically when I do these things, I would actually do a lot of these on separate layers, but because of the circumstances of the drawing and how much time I have, I'm kind of relegated to kind of simplifying everything, you know? And so I'm trying to keep some of the things on one layer and just trying to kind of get everything done on one layer as much as I can. And then if I have time, I will like go on other layers as well. But it's not like a requirement for me. So I don't know if I did a good job. I think I noticed what I'm doing wrong. I think the eye feels off. I noticed what I did wrong with the eye already. So the eye this line needs to be tilted down more. And I only noticed it because I was able to zoom in a little bit to the face now that the timer's gone out. But now that I can't really fix that. Well, I can, but it's not worth it for a study, you know, especially since I'm going to be not calling it quits soon, but I don't want to like overly focus on small nuances like that, even though I'm getting detailed with the eye here. I need to do something here. And then we're going to add some lines, darker lines here. Yeah, so I can't see what's happening. Well, I can kind of. All right, so let's go ahead and play around with this here. That's a little too dark. So we're just kind of fiddling around with the tones here, taking some of the local color or local value and using it around to my advantage. So I'm not always just kind of fiddling around here and very slow process, man. So I'm struggling with this. Just kind of, this is way too dark, and I'm trying to soften it up because it doesn't need to be that dark. And let's do something. Let's go ahead and let's move around. Let's move around some more. As I said, I'm fixating on a spot that's like just a small portion of the face, and that's what I need to kind of avoid, is getting a little bit like treating things that are making it too precious, you know? And I need to avoid that mentality when working on these things. Like making everything too precious and so forth. Yeah, so the angle of his eye really affects everything on his face. It just does everything. I'm noticing everything I've done wrong after the fact. I hate that. Don't you hate that when you see what you've done wrong? Like the angle of his eye needs to be corrected. Man, that's a shame. It's a shame. All right, Cord is kind of fiddling around with his mouth. Maybe this whole area underneath his mouth is really, really dark. For real. It's like it's also one of the more dark areas on his face. You know, it really is. So we're just going to kind of sweep this here. And then we can start adding, we're just going to sweep this here. And yeah, we'll sweep that there. And then we can, kind of smooth out some areas, because it's not like all dark, but it is definitely darker. Yeah. And let's go ahead. I think I'm kind of not done with the drawing, obviously, but I'm getting to the point where I'm going to kind of call it quits on it. I'm going to add an eye. We're going to add this. We're going to fit on his eye here. And then I want to add some eyelashes. I think if I add some eyelashes, that might help this, a little bit. I think that's one of the things that's bothering me, is the eyelashes seem a little off, or because the angle here. But like, I think I could correct the angle a little bit if I can manipulate the eyelashes to some degree. So that's what I think might help me for his face. Is adding the problem with this is we want to avoid treating his eyes like black holes, because even though it's dark, it's not a giant black hole. You just can't see the tonal variations because it's so dark that it's hard to see the pupil. But the pupil's still showing to some degree, not a lot. It's still showing. And then he has a little bit of a highlight happening here. I think a little bit of highlight happening here. Kind of playing around here. Just trying to get like, I don't know, I'm just fiddling around with the value. I don't know if I'm doing a good job at that, but I think I'm getting better at it. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to play around with the eyelashes and the hair just for fun. Shrink this down. There we go. Shrink it down. Go to the hair. Go to, I think this is single eyelashes. Yeah. And we're just going to go ahead and expand this first. And then we're going to go ahead and Yeah, let's use black eyelashes. Why not? It'll make it easier. There we go. We'll kind of zoom in here. And then it's going to print and yeah. So I'm just adding like little bitty marks here. Probably doesn't need to look like that, but like something. And then here is where I can see more prominent eyelashes, just a few of them. Especially over here. Like that. Yeah. Something like that's pretty good. Maybe I'll play around with the forehead. I don't know. Let's go play around with the forehead a little bit. So I think the eyelashes are good, and I want to play around with the hair. Forehead, hair. I'll do that. Forehead, hair, and then we'll see what happens. Let's see. And we're going to go to here. Let's work on the forehead some. I think it could be a little bit darker, especially in the center here. Maybe not that dark. Maybe it is that dark, just I need to kind of transition it so it works with the rest of his head. You know? Something like that, I don't know. Yep, let's do this. Something like that. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to play around with some skin, like the skin pores for fun. Because I was enjoying some of the skin texture. So this is the skin brush here that I have that it's kind of nice. If you watch this, you do this, and you just kind of take a texture and just kind of do something like that. It adds it makes a nice little, you know, texture. Around, and it also works as kind of like a blending tool as well, so I kind of like that. Because it kind of simulates the pores of skin. Not great, but it does a decent job of like simulating the pores of skin. So you can kind of add like highlights here. If you need to, right? Maybe a little bit of highlight here, highlight here. And then like, what's another one? There's some other skin pores. There's the just looking at kind of these brushes here, seeing which ones I want. Let's try some freckles, skin freckles. Yeah, a little bit of that, and that's kind of a neat little texture thing to kind of play around with, where it kind of like makes the skin a little bit more inconsistent, you know. And I'll play around with that every once in a while. And what's some other freckles? We got these. What does these look like? Ooh. Oof. Nope. Nope. Too dark. You know? And okay. What's the splatter? What's this supposed to do? Anyways, I think I'm done with the texture. Just for fun. Ooh, I know what I did wrong here. I think I know what I did wrong. This whole area, he looks like he's got like a giant protruding cheekbone, and it's not like that. Like he's got a pronounced one, but it kind of made it look like it's like he's been punched in the side of his face. And it doesn't look like that in reality. So let's go ahead and tighten this up a little bit. All right. I think I'm getting closer to done for this with the study. You know, it's kind of at this point. I'm not over it, but I'm definitely getting to the point where like, okay, this just kind of call it a day. And you know, I think I've extrapolated as much as I can learn from this piece at this point in time. You know, and it looks pretty good for a study. Now let's go ahead and play with some hair. As I said, I don't like how, I don't know, it's not, I gotta fix this guy's cheekbone, man. I gotta. Just gotta fix it somehow. I don't know how. I don't know what I'm doing. All right. I think that, yeah, we're done with that. Let's go work on hair, man. I keep going. I keep flip-flopping, man. I can't keep doing this. What kind of hair is there? Just this, let's see, hairbrush, texture hair. Oh, let's do that. I think that might be what I'm looking for. It's kind of a maybe. Yep, just using this hairbrush here and see how I like it. It's okay. I don't know if it does the proper effect that I'm looking for. But I think it does a suitable effect. Like it kind of creates the kind of toothiness of his hair. I don't know if I'm doing a good job using it though. Yeah, it's playing around and seeing how this works. I think this kind of works pretty good. I think that's pretty good. Let's go ahead and see what other brush there is. There's the textured hair. What's this one look like? I think this one might be pretty good too. Oh yeah, that's pretty good too. So what I think I want to do here now is just kind of go around the edges a little bit. Just a little bit, not a lot. See how I like it. Yeah, just a small touch like that, because there's really no highlight to the hair. It's all like really pretty dark, actually. You know, there's I can all the like adding like the special like this texture here is just like it's more like it's more of an aesthetic choice, you know, than anything else. Because if I look at the photo, I can't really see any of this stuff. So it's more like just like making it a little bit more unique. It really doesn't make it much better, in my opinion. Quite honest with you. Anyways, I think that's it for the day. That was a good study, as you can see. Not major growth, but I definitely learned a bit from it, and I'm actually quite happy with the outcome. So I'm not disappointed. Let's go ahead and add another layer, and then we're gonna just write my signature in the bottom. But I'm actually quite happy with this one. I'm liking the fact that I'm growing as improving at this. So I'm looking forward to seeing where I'm at after 100 of these. Again, though, there's going to be times where I do like those silly ones. I've been doing a lot of silly ones lately, so I'll do like a cartoon. Let's see, basic brushes. We're just gonna go ahead and we're gonna sign it. And it's a number 17 of 100. So there we go. Number 17 of 100, man. That's not bad. I'm happy with it. It doesn't look like it looks kind of like the guy, but it's I'm off. I'm off a bit. Like I didn't tilt his head. This angle of his head needs to be tilted down more now that I look at it. There's some things I missed. Anyways, I just want to say thank you so much for watching today's live art stream. This is Pierson. I am the #1 live art streamer in the world, and I hope you're doing well. I hope you enjoyed the live art stream. I think I learned quite a bit, and tomorrow's going to be another one. I'm still getting kind of lost on this. I'd like to be able to get done in under an hour, because it's really eating up on my social time, and it is what it is, though. We'll see what happens. Anyways, I want to say thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful night. Cheers.